Hi everyone, welcome to the first group of the quarterfinals, Group A. I'm your caster Big Fan. Today we'll have a TVP, our Terran Light. TVP stats, 50%, so straight on the dot. Historically, his TVP was not as strong or lethal as some of the other matchups. And you can kind of see the stat difference here, just a quick peek. So this will definitely be a pretty rough series for him to win. But we will see what he's able to do. On the other hand, his Protoss opponent is Cal. So Cal's PvT strats is only 2 games, pretty small sample size. But I did take a quick peek at their records in 2007 just to see how both of them were doing. And Cal had something like about 70% in PvT, while Light was sub 40%. So for sure, this will be a tough series for Light. But Cal should definitely not be underestimating Light as well. The series is BO5, best of 5, so we'll see who's gonna be advanced to the next round. Match 1 is about to start. Map will be Katrina fighting. So our Protoss at the 12 o'clock spawn is going to be Cal. And our Orange Terran at the 6 o'clock spawn, Light. So spawn wise, I mean this is quite the lengthy map. And I would love to see Light honestly go for something like a 4cc just to try and grab the eco advantage early on, because that would put him in a much better place compared to Cal, who might go with like a gateway opening. But it's also possible Cal might try like a Nexus first. Honestly, we'll have to wait and see what both players decide to do as the game warms up. On the other hand, keeping in mind with the spawns, that means that when Light expands, he'll obviously be taking his in base, so it'll be in the bottom right corner compared to Cal's top left. So quite the distance for both players, and this is probably one of the longest spawns on this map if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to wait and see if Cal will get a gateway or if he's going to go for the Nexus first, basically. So it's more than likely going to be a Nexus first from Cal, potentially. But we do see the Rax opener from Light, and the gas coming in as well. Now, one thing to keep in mind, PvT stats on this map, 18-7 in terms of Protoss. So Protoss favored map. So Light definitely has an uphill battle to climb, on top of the fact that his TVP isn't as strong as the PvT of Cal. And considering the spawns, especially with the fact that the SCV from Light will not be scouting Cal on the first spot, Cal should be able to get away with this from my perspective. Because the gateway is already going up, more than likely he might just add the core and then the gas straight after, and then just go from there. We'll have to see when Cal scouts as well. Looks like he actually is scouting now. So Cal also likewise will not be scouting Light on the first spawn. He'll spam this on the second one, at which point the wall will be up. Yeah, and we can see the factory should be going up very shortly for Light as well. So more than likely just a factory expand on his part. You can kind of see there's only a single SCV mining now. So yeah, definitely just the factory is coming straight up. And the wall itself, if I'm not mistaken, should be Zealot tight as well. So the SCV from Light has made into Cal's base. So he is basically scanning everything around. He now should have an idea of the Nexus first, considering the timing. And I do like the addition of the second gateway from Cal, honestly, because Cal is playing in the dark. He hasn't scouted Light yet. For all he knows, maybe Light decide to do something like a 2-fact behind this, as unlikely as it is on this map. So following up with 2 gates right after a Nexus is definitely not a bad idea, just to get some units out ASAP. It's interesting to see the scouting pattern though. Looks like the probe is scouting towards the 9 o'clock rather than the 6 o'clock. So it looks like Cal will not be scouting Light until the last spawn. So this gives more and more time for Light to advance things up, but keep in mind there is also a wall as well, so it's not as much of a concern there. Now, I do see that there was no probes being made in the top left nexus. I do wonder if he was just trying to make units, but he should have enough economy for that. On the other hand, Light has taken his CC as well, and his factory, the machine shop is being added on as well. So it's interesting. It looks like Light feels he's good enough at this point. He actually didn't need any kind of a vulture, early vulture, or anything along those lines, especially with the fact that he scouted how far away Cal is. So I think it's definitely a good idea to skip the first vulture, honestly, if it means that you can get up the machine shop faster. And the SAV being alive, the base does give him a lot of time. Now this many is going to go down. This is definitely not a good idea for Light to lose, but you can see a vulture has come out basically. And he's basically not making any other units as well. So this will cause Zell to flee, but the CC is done. We see what looks like a port coming up. Yeah, it's a port as well. I would love to see if this is going to be this dropship play from Light. Because again, keep in mind, he did scout the Nexus. He did scout with the SCV that there was no robo just yet and anything. So going drops, speed vulture or vulture with mines for a drop is not a bad idea. And he already has the mines researched as well. But at the same time, we'll have to see what he has in mind. Both would work. Keep in mind, obviously, the long distance does play into Cal's advantage. And we see the first target up, so we have to see if a second one comes up and if it's going to be Arbiters or Carriers. Again, airplay is quite popular on this map. So the force is pretty interesting. I'm presuming that Cal does have a feeling that Light might be going for some kind of play, drop ship play. So he might just put a cannon in one of his mineral lines in each one. And that will help against any kind of drops, especially with the vultures coming in and trying to snipe workers. But Cal is also basically, he hasn't gotten a robo yet. We do see Fleet Beacon. Okay, so it looks like carriers are going to be coming in as well. Now the question is, will Light scout this? And the other question is, did he get an armor? Because I don't believe I saw an army just yet. So those are going to be some nice drags, mine drags. Oh, and you see that Light barely just survives as well. Picked up by the vultures. But this was extremely important and well done by Cal. He does not want the mine setup because this will easily kill whatever spawns there. 4 or 5 mines is enough. We see the dropship coming in, so it looks like it's going to be vulture play as well. So speed vulture with mines, although I believe all the mines may have been used up already. And the question is Cal ready for this? One thing about this drop, Light will get a good idea of what Cal is up to. This will give him enough time to add Goliath, because if you catch the Protoss getting the carriers and you start making Goliath, I think he should have a chance. So drops coming in, we don't see any units in place for Cal. So Cal looks like he's still unaware of this, he's only blocking his front. If this managed to come in, this will do kill a lot of probes, especially if it's unscouted. And it looks like it might just come in unscouted. So you can see that's one, he looks like he's going to basically just mine out the front. This will give him more time, especially with the fact that there is no robo, or we haven't seen any single robo yet. So we're gonna have to see how many probes fall basically. So that's 2 probes, that's gonna be 3 probes for sure. But you can see the cannon is doing a great job, but I mean the vultures can at least deny. Oh, and that was really nicely done from Cal. It comes from the top where there's no units. Now on the one hand, vultures, they did get about 5-6 probe kills, which is great. On the other hand, and Light does scout the carriers, so he has enough time to add Goliath, and we see the army is ready as well, so that is good news for him. On the other hand, carriers are coming. That's the best way to put it basically, because we don't see any Goliath yet for Light. He's gonna have to start ramping up production. But we do see a 3rd base, which is not honestly a bad idea. You can see because with more and more factors coming in, he's gonna be able to get more and more units, and as long as he has a decent enough ground arm, like a decent enough tank force, just for the backbone, then the Goliath should be okay to help protect that base as well. So this is pretty interesting strats, just again more and more drags. We do see another looks like it might actually be just scouting around. I don't believe this is a vulture drop. I think it's just to scout around, and he will see the first 2 carriers are out. Another 2 are more than likely being made, or more than likely will be made soon in that case. And you can see Cal realizes that this has been scouted, so he is actually moving out with the carriers. Now, personally, I feel like he should at least move a couple of goons under the carriers or something there, because, you know, 2 carriers barely have any interceptors. Those are pretty easy for the picking, but there is enough here turrets as well to help protect the tanks. On the other hand, the goons are just protecting his front, and there's nothing there. So you can see the robot's done. Hopefully the observatory is done soon as well. Yeah, it is. So I expect that there'll be a bit of movement out from the goons as well shortly. Because keep in mind, Cal did clean out some of the mines with his first zealot. So he could definitely do more mine drag or try and clear out the way if he was worried about that. But he definitely should not get the carriers targeted. It's only shield for now. So more guys are popping out. They are targeting the carriers, so I think this is a decent idea from Light, but he does need more and more, and Cal keeps sniping the Goliath, so he can't even build up his force. So Cal's playing it well so far from my perspective, but if these turrets get up, or the Goliath's force basically is enough here, then Cal will be in trouble basically, because Light's going to have the superior eco, and he'll be able to easily fend off the carriers. I believe there's another 1 or 2 more coming in. But you can see even the interrupted count is going up and up basically. So this is going to be 100%. Oh, we do see what looks like actually a drop. So this is going to deny the mine. I see what 5-6 pop kills. So this is fantastic for Light, doing a lot of damage basically, denying the mining as well. And the cannon is also down. Oh no, it's not down, but you can see there's only 3-4 probes. That's 2 probes, 3 probes, the 5. There's gonna be at least a couple more probes plus the 5 that was killed on the tank, or the 6 on the tank. So the economical damage has been great, extremely great here. On the other hand, this is also adding more and more time for Light to actually get up some defense for the carriers. Oh, and he's actually also targeting the carriers as well, so that's a great thing on top of it as well. And I believe the Goliath range is finished at this point too. So eco-wise, Light is in a fantastic position, and he's fortified his base. He has some of the turrets. He's 5 racks or 5 FAC pumping non-stop. So I believe this would honestly be this would be a good time for him to move out if he has enough Goliath tank, because he knows the carrier count is low. He knows the interceptors aren't there just yet. He has only so many of them, and he's already damaged some of the carriers too, so he doesn't want the shields to regenerate. So we'll have to see what he does, but you can see the SCVs are going all over just to scout around because he doesn't want to get caught off guard. This is probably a rogue Goliath here. I don't think it's intentional. So 4 carriers are up. We're slowly getting up to that magical number of carriers become harder. Oh, but this is a really nice drop, basically. A 3 zealot drop into the back of Light's base. This will start, he's probably going to start targeting some of the turrets and probably killing SCVs as well. So this will force Light to move back. You can see his units are moving back. So this can set up a timing or a potential for Cal to attack the 3rd position, depending on how many units he has in place, but I don't see anything there. So this might just be, again, just buying more time, basically, because he realizes his situation. Oh, there's another tank as well. So this tank is doing fantastic work too. Look at how much mining has been denied for how long. Oh, and the army is being targeted. Both arms are going to be targeted. This is honestly going to be a huge loss for Light, basically. If you lose both arms, he should be at least repairing the bottom army, but it looks like it's going to be... Yeah, he should be repairing it. Come on, repair it. Wow, okay. So this means no Goliath for now from Light. If Light loses his Goliath, he is going to be in trouble. He's going to have to make an army ASAP. One thing is he can make more and more turrets. Keep in mind, turrets are stationary, and Goliath are basically the units that you're going to be fighting the carriers with. And Cal knows this, which is why he was probably pushing the armory, on top of the fact that if there are any upgrades coming in, he's just denied them, basically. Oh, and the Zealots are still alive as well. So 3 Zealots with carrier combo did quite a bit of damage as well. Now the question is Light aware of the potential follow-up attack? Because we can see, okay, so double RB there. We see quite a bit of units at the mineral, and even 2 more carriers as well. So it's up to what, 5 carriers, 6 carriers now? So Light is definitely in trouble at this point. The carrier count is going up steadily. He hasn't managed to kill one, although one of them is in the yellow-reddish range. And even though he does have had the better eco, that dropped it a lot of damage basically. Having to rebuild the armies twice, losing some of the supply depots, some of the SCVs have made things worse. Now this is not a bad idea on his part as well. This will at least get some proc kills and help deny mining for a bit, or at least from that left side. But the carriers are doing a lot of work in mine's base. And the question is, what can... Oh, but that was a nice mine hit as well. But this is going to be cleaned up from Cal. So, oh, okay. So we see a couple of wraiths. Okay, so what what Light might end up doing is just try and go for or it could also be, now we don't see any cloak being researched, because sometimes what the players will do... Oh, okay, let's hold that thought. So this is quite a big attack. The tanks are going to be dying. This is going to open up a chance for the goons to come in here, because now observers are out. There is 3 tanks in the back, so it's not as bad. But you can see a huge force is coming towards Light's base. Now, Light is doing a fantastic job with a lot of the mines. Basically, a lot of the mines are connecting, but the tanks are basically dying. And once these are dead, Vulture Goliath does not do great against Zealot Goon from my perspective. And this is going to spell trouble, basically. You can kind of see, and everything is closing in. The carrier count has not been reduced. So this base is in trouble. This base is going to probably be lifted and more than likely will die if it gets tied by the goons. On the other hand, the 3rd base, the 4th base has been established also for Cal as well. So Cal is actually looking in a prime position to take this first game of the series. So what looked like a great position to start things off for Light, especially with the nice Vulture drop and such, kind of backfired or didn't work as well later on, especially with Cal having similar ideas. So GG gets called from Light. Cal takes our first game. So game 2 is about to start. Map is Zodiac, fighting. So our Terran player, 12 o'clock, Light. And the Protoss at the 6 o'clock, it's going to be Cal. So spawn-wise, probably one of the further spawns on this map. It's actually honestly a little similar to Katrina in terms of the spawns, because they were both also vertical spawns. Keep in mind, this map does have the Island expansion. This can be quite beneficial for either player. So if Cal goes with something like Reaver openers, then he can definitely use the shuttle to ferry probe over. On the other hand, Light can also just make his CC and lift it up, or just use dropships, especially if he gets the port like the last game. We have to see what both of them decide to do. Likewise, we'll have to see if either of them will decide to do something like what they did last game. So there's always a chance for Cal trying to go like a Nexus first, because he is up 1-0 in the series. This map though, unlike Katrina, I can see the stats 9-10, so it's fairly balanced as of this period in time. It's considered fairly balanced. Now we don't see any gateways up just from Cal, which is very interesting. So he actually might be going for the Nexus first. We'll have to see if Light is getting his racks. We'll have to see if he's going to get his gas as well. And I believe the gas is up too. Yeah, it looks like he just gets his gas as well. On the other hand, it looks like a probe is coming down. So it looks like it's going to be a Nexus first. So it looks like it's going to be similar openers to the last game from both players. And we do see Light is going to be scouting Cal ASAP as well. And much like the last game, Light is going to be scouting Cal on the 2nd spot rather than the 1st spawn. Now we'll have to see if there's going to be a single factor into CC, or if we'll try something like a 2-fac. Typically, just eco openers are probably the better option on this map, especially with the spawn distances. But what makes any possibility of those kind of play stronger, like a 2-fac, just because there is a wall there, basically, and it would definitely be a mix-up. But I think this is going to be just... Oh, we have to see. Actually, the SCVs are still mining, so it looks like it's going to be a second factory probably coming up, or maybe... Yeah. Because typically, as the Terran, if you do a factory opener, like a factory expand, you'll pull off the SCVs and keep only a single one on the gas. But the SCVs are still mining gas, so either this is a mistake or there is a follow-up, like a 2-port maybe, potentially. It'd be interesting to see. It could be completely wrong in this case, but we'll have to see where all the gas is going, so we'll leave it for light. We see non-stop marine production, which is very interesting. He sort of scouted also what Cal is doing. Yeah, so he scouts it, but keep in mind Cal did go for the 2 gates right after, and the score is done, so goons will be coming into service momentarily, so this obviously will make it a little harder for light to press. First Vulture's out, and he's making basically non-stop marines at this point. It's interesting. Now, it's important that he actually denies the probe, because keep in mind the probe does think that there is a CC here, and... Oh, beautiful. Okay, so it looks like he's going to be pulling SCVs to try and kill this Nexus. Not a bad idea. Now, keep in mind 2 gates are up here. There is range being researched for the goons, and this means we're going to have probably more than likely 2 other goons popping out right at the SCVs get there, basically. Cal is not aware of this just yet, but we do see... Oh, and he even has a Citadel coming in, so there is a chance for like a DT follow-up here too. Cal is not aware. He does see that 1 Vulture. He still doesn't know about this just yet. And if this position is pulled off, then Light can do major damage. He can definitely take this down, but this was Croc's cross spawn, so this definitely gave Cal more time to prepare. The marker is going up. We're gonna have to see what Cal's micro is like. The probes are being pulled as well, but Light is doing a fantastic job as well, just keeping the goons back, basically. So the bunker is going to be going up. The Zelt is almost done as well, and basically the goons are stuck on there. Nothing, they can do nothing. So the bunker is going to be up. This is definitely a win so far for Light's position. And looks like he should be able to take down this Nexus as well. Now keep in mind Citadel is done, so Archives more than likely will be coming in soon, and we have a robot as well. So the question is, what does Light have for this? He doesn't really know about this just yet. He's more than likely going to pull back. He doesn't have any detection, he doesn't have an academy. I don't even think he has mines just yet. I think he only just has the speed. Oh no, he doesn't even have the speed on the Vultures either. He's still researching something though, so it must be mines. So it was nice of Light to bust this. He is in a better position, but the DTs coming in, and they'll be coming in very shortly, are definitely not a great thing. And we see mines are done as well. The question is Light aware of this possibility? Because DTs can also be really brutal. If you're not ready with detection, especially in the hands of pros, they can honestly outright finish a game as well. I would love to see an academy or an eBay thinking of Reaver follow-ups or something along those lines, but we don't see anything from Light. We only see a CC coming in. So honestly, this could be quite brutal, especially because there is a robo there. There's always a chance it's going to be like a DT drop. So EB is going up. Now there should be enough time for Light to get up a couple of tiers, so he might actually be okay at this point. We'll have to see when the DTs pop out and what happens. But we see as well a single DT there. Oh no, 2 DTs. The shuttle is done, so it's going to be a DT drop basically. So Cal realizes the situation he is in. He realizes that Light must have been Oh, and the settler has been scouted. Now, of course, he doesn't have a probe, so he's probably going to be taking the iron expansion, so this will be at least a nice thing for him. But Light is aware of the potential now, and these DTs honestly could do a lot of damage. Again, we have to see what Light does. Now, he is getting up trying to get up his stairs in time, but it's more than likely shuttle is halfway across the map. We'll have to see just how much damage the drop does. So shuttle is coming in. The DTs have been dropped basically. I believe the turret should be just done just barely in time. The turret is done in time over there, but he can basically... So on the one hand, Light does have turrets up. On the other hand, he doesn't have any turret in his mirror line, so these DTs are probably going to go to town on these STVs. We'll have to see what Light can do. Honestly, one thing he can try and do is just glitch his workers. This will make it extremely difficult for the... Oh, so the turtle is down, but by glitching his workers, he'll make it extremely difficult for the DT to get hits because they have to walk across, and he doesn't have the bottom, so... Still, the DTs have still done honestly a lot of work between killing the 4 SCVs, you know, down the comsat, having all the units sit back here. So this will give time for Cal to actually get the in base, but there is a racks floating over there. And the comsat is more than likely done, so I expect to see the scan. These will be killed, so nicely done by Light. Nicely done. And keep in mind, he knows about the in-base as well, so he knows exactly what Cal has in mind here. Plus, this is really nice. I love this move here. He's going to be making a Marine. He's going to try and just deny the probes from mining. Now, there is another shuttle, so this will be denied, but at least... Oh, and it's a Firebat as well, so this is really a nice decision too. So I personally love Light's position. Even though the DT did more damage than anticipated, he still does have a nice position. Now Cal is also rebounding pretty well here. He is taking his expansion, and he does have he's gonna have 3 nexus very soon as well. And because of the fact that Light only has the one phase act, another factor does mean his army is smaller than usual, but he does have a sizable unit and he is moving across. However, Cal is going to be scouting this, so we'll have to see what Cal decides to do. Cal has a huge amount of units honestly here. Like there's about what, 8 goons? So plus with the observer, he can honestly catch this army, so Light has to be extremely careful. Losing this can be pretty bad for him. And I don't think honestly he should be engaging. I feel like there is enough units here for Cal to defend this. That's a huge amount of goons. Like this is definitely a bad idea from Light. He should just push back, and he's probably gonna lose at least a couple more units. Honestly, if he loses those tanks, it'll be pretty brutal. But keep in mind, he's only again on the one factor. He's getting more and more factors now, though. But he doesn't want to be losing the backbone of his army. We do see what looks like a port coming in. So in theory, this was not a bad idea to try and prevent him from getting up his eco. But when your opponent has something like 8 goons, then that's something you have to respect. Basically, three tanks, 2 tanks versus 8 goons, 10 goons, whatever is not gonna be doing it. Now there is a chance for like a bulldog where he can just drop some units onto those tanks and go in for the front, but I don't believe he's going to try it. I would love to see a couple of DTs dropped into the main to draw the attention, go for the push. That would also buy Cal more time to get a better eco, because you can see he's basically building himself up again, his eco. But Cal is definitely doing a great job of bringing himself back into the game after the Nexus that was busted by Light earlier on. So 2 more factors adding in. We do see what more than likely drop ships, and the army is coming in now, 11 o'clock, which is a bit on the later side, or it is on the later side. We did see the Stargate as well, so we'll have to see if it's going to be arbors or carriers. Both have been used on this map. So we'll have to see what Cal preferred. We did see carriers the last game. I think arbors would not honestly be a bad idea here as well. Okay, so it looks like Jamzes were just trying to deny or kill the depot there. It might also have been the DT that was picked up at the island base as well. Oh wow, okay. So that settler just barely survives. So it would be interesting to see where Cal decides to take his 4th. Looks like it would be the base adjacent. If he takes this base, And this base, oh, it looks like Arbiter Tech as well, so not a bad idea. So if he takes that base as his fourth and Light can't deny it and starts mining, Cal will be in a fantastic situation. Now, the is 2 drops is coming out. Looks like he's going to be aiming for the island base. Definitely not a bad idea here, considering the fact that we only saw the single dropship. This is or the shuttle. This is going to be scouted by Cal. I don't know about this personally though. I don't think he should be just attacking units across. And you can see there is a huge army coming in from Cal, and Cal sees an opportunity. But no, it looks like he's going to be pulling back. Yeah, and this base is going to be going down basically. No, actually, it looks like it's actually going to be just saved. Okay, so nicely done by Cal. But there is a chance for the tanks to be repositioned as well. Now, would you see the ports? Does Light know about the Arbiter? That's the one question I would love to know. Because we didn't really hear or see any scans, so to speak. So we're not sure if he's aware of this. He doesn't. If he does, he would actually need amp, or at least to get tears around his base in preparation for this. Because recalls can be extremely hard to defend if you're not prepared. On the other hand, Cal is doing a great job of keeping track of the dropships with his shuttle. And his first base, he's got the next up at this point. And he's still doing a decent job just denying the vultures from running all over the place. So it looks like basically Light is going to go for the main. I honestly don't know about this basically. It's true that he has 4 tanks here, but they are damaged. And even though he will scout the Arbiter as well, so this is nice intel for him. This can be easily cleaned up. You can kind of see what I mean, like 2 DTs, that's 1 tank down. And the other 2 are wounded at least. So Cal has been defending the aggression quite well, and his 4th is now mining and established. On the other hand, the 3rd isn't even done yet for Light. He's just lifting it up to the 3rd now, but this can easily be denied if Cal is aware of this. Now the question is, we'll have to see where the Arbiter recalls, because we did see the Arbiter is finished. No doubt is banking some energy now for a recall. We'll have to see if it's going to be more than likely. It might be just the back expansion, but you can see the science facility isn't even done yet. Oh, and these are some nice Zealot drops as well. From Cal. Now Cal does have to be careful. He should probably make sure his army is on hold at least, because you don't want your goons running into tank range. But the game is looking nicer and nicer for him from my perspective, and you can see more gates are going to be added up shortly, and he is keeping track of Light's expansion pattern. Oh wow, okay. So that might have done more, but that was a nice drag as well. Oh, this is pretty nice from Light as well. So if he gets this up, at least he'll get some of the advantage there. We do see both players do have +1 attack on their units, so they are matching for upgrades so far. We will have to see what Cal decides to do to break the units. Oh, okay, so we see stasis on the tanks there. It's not a bad stasis, it does get quite a bit in, but keep in mind it's quite a bit. It looks like Cal is actually going to be going for this basically. I honestly don't know about this. There's a lot of units here in front. There's a huge amount of tanks in the back as well. This can also fail extremely badly, and you can see now there is more and more that's coming in. Oh, and that is those are some beautiful storms as well, so blanketing the whole battlefield. So a lot of things are going to be going down, and it looks like Cal might actually just be barely breaking through this here. And the only thing standing between this base going down is a single tank, which is now down as well. Now keep on, there is 4 tanks there that are basically in stasis. So, and the SCVs are basically fighting the goons, but this base will survive for now. But there's more and more that's streaming in, and keep in mind, okay, so we see more and more vault mines coming in. It's not a bad idea, but these are pretty huge mine drags as well. So it looks like Light has stabilized after that. He still has the one Arbiter there. Would you shoot 2 Zs dropped, and these can do quite a bit of damage, but there is a lot of SCVs here as well, especially with the target, so we have to see what he decides to do. I feel like a mini recall here also would not be a bad idea, but a dropship is coming in, so this base will be saved. At this point in time, Cal would honestly consider taking a 5th base, because he tried to break the 3rd, didn't happen. He tried to break the 4th, or at least do damage on the iron base, and that was saved as well. Also, one other thing, we see more and more Zealots coming in too. And keep in mind, it's definitely hard to micro against the Zealots here just because of the positions, but it looks like Cal's actually targeting, or was targeting, the workers there. Yeah, and Light doing a fantastic job just stabilizing after all these, as the harass basically, and the big assault on his 3rd. And he also has his dropships alive as well, so that does mean that as the game goes on, he can definitely put those in use, and he has the vessel too for M. So it looks like Kaz actually might be planning to go for a big attack as well, like another big one towards the 3rd, but there should be enough tanks at the top there, honestly. I don't know about this. I feel like this might actually be a bad idea. So Light is getting firm control of this game at this point. But, and we see a 5th base is actually up for Cal. Okay. So that's not bad for him. I feel like he will have to start adding more gateways though. I think we were up to what, 7? 7 for 4 base. You can definitely add more, and he was only on the singles target from earlier, so he can definitely afford more on like a 5 base eco than what he has. But Light has locked down his island base, and he is building up his army again, like some more. He's still on 1-0 though. I would love to see what the upgrades are. Oh no, it looks like 1-1. It looks like it's 2-0. So Cal has the upgrade advantage in terms of attack, but Light does have 1 armor, so he has the armor advantage. Oh, and that is a beautiful recall into the main. Okay, so we completely missed that recall. And this recall is going to do us a lot of damage. Keep in mind, a lot of the units are at Light's 3rd base. Oh, and even a 2nd recall as well. So that CC is going to go down. The army is going to go down as well. This means if there's any upgrades there, they will be denied. And we see a storm on top. So this is going to prevent any units from going up the ramp. This is beautifully done by Cal. Now he will lose the High Templar, but keep in mind, look, I mean, consider how much they are delaying here. So you can see the CC is down, the army is being targeted, this is going to go down. A lot of these depots are going to go down as well. I feel like Cal can definitely do a better micro here. I don't know personally about this because there is quite a bit of tanks in the back, but he's not doing too badly either. I feel like targeting the depots as well as the science facility should probably be the best idea, especially with the science facility actually upgrading something. But this also buys Cal more and more time to establish more base, and I believe he's taking a 6th base as we speak. But you can see, like, this Director has done massive damage, basically. Oh, and that's a beautiful stage. And this means that those 3 tanks can actually also be picked off as well, but looks like Light is aware, so he's just pulled back. So these guns are going to survive even longer in Light's base. Oh, and even gets the Academy on top. So that means that... So GG from Light. So after a great start from Light busting that Nexus first, Cal did have that nice DT drop, and once the game, stabilized, Cal did get himself back into the eco advantage and never looked back. Well played. So Cal's now up 2-0. So match 3, this could potentially be the final match, will be on Blue Storm, fighting So our red Terran in the top right is going to be Light. On the other hand, we have our orange toss bottom left. It's going to be Cal. So Light has to win this. He doesn't really honestly have much of a choice at this point. If he loses this, he is going to be eliminated and Cal will be advancing to the next round, the semis. Now this map, I have seen two facts on this map. It's not the most common, but it's definitely a possibility. And I've mentioned previously as well for this map, in terms of whether TVT, TVP, etc., there is a little nook there just outside the expansion. Definitely park a tank there, and they can range the Nexus or CC or whatever, basically. So definitely something that Light can take advantage of as well. We'll have to see. So we've seen Cal go for the Nexus first in both games. We'll have to see if he's going to go to it, but it looks like he's going to get a gateway ASAP this time. So he won't be playing the luck game, basically. And I think this is definitely a great idea after we're having it work twice. There's always a possibility of the third time, but it's not a guarantee. And you can look at PVT strats, 2017 on this map. So slightly Protoss favored, but I would say it's anyone's game at this point. Whoever plays best will win this game. On the other hand, Light is opening as the same as usual. He is getting his gas right after the racks as well. More than likely, it's just going to be the factory opening into CC that we've seen. We will have to see if we'll get the Vulture ASAP right after the factory is done, or if he'll skip it for... or if you just skip it for to get the machine shop and get to basically tech up, so to speak. Now this is an interesting place for the probe. So I wonder if he's gonna proxy like a robo here, or some kind of, yeah. This could also be potentially just a place to scout as well in terms of any dropship play, but it seems a little too early for that. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a factory expand. On the other hand, I am fully expecting a proxy here, so we'll have to see. Now, keep in mind, Light does have the SCV in the base. He was able to scout this, so if he does find out that there's only a single gateway and there's only so many units coming out. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be a proxy of some kind. Personally, I would have loved if this was at the 12 o'clock, just because it's a little closer, but I can completely understand having it a little further down. This also is also the less likely place to be scouted, and you want to play the mind games with the opponent as well. Now the Zell did go poke into Light's main, wasn't able to do anything, so the Light is pulling back. But this will give Cal intel. We see what it looks like. Oh, so it's actually going to be DTs. This is not a bad idea. The Goon does have to deny the mining though. The SCV, if it decides to come back in for the scouting, I mean. Because if the SCV comes back and sees no tech here and no Nexus, it's going to know that there must be something up on the map, basically. And more than likely DTs. So we'll have to wait and see if he's going to get the Nexus, or he's going to get might be getting the archives ASAP and then the Nexus, because this will obviously speed up the timing. So yeah, I fully expect the Nexus to go down after this as well. And the gateway just outside too. Okay. So this is a pretty interesting. Light is trying to get as much information as he can get, but Cal is also doing a great job just denying it. Now the SCV does move in, so the SCV will be able to scout this and find that there's only a single gateway, so he should have an idea that something has been proxied. But these 6 minis are going to be caught. Oh, and there's a tank here, so this should be enough here if he does a target firing. And he's almost killed the first Delta as well, so this is extremely important. Every unit that Light gets is is great for him, but the DTs are coming in. Does he even have an academy? Does he have any turrets up? What does he have in his main? And we haven't really seen his main in quite a while now, so we have to see. He is getting a second factory behind the CC, but I mean, there is a chance that it's mines that are being researched. Yeah, it looks like actually mines are finished. But if the DT walked straight to Light's base, he would not be triggering those mines, basically, because they're right in the middle of the map. So the first two DTs are out. Now these two goods are actually going to get caught, basically. So it looks like the Nexus might actually get denied for... the Nexus is going to get denied, but the DT is going to be shown, so Light does know what is up. We'll have to see if he's going to basically be adding in like an eBay ASAP or what he plans to do. On the other hand, the Vultures have made their way into the main, and obviously we do have the mines being planted from Light as well, but keep in mind with the DTs, if you move in, and I believe if you hit hold right before the mine explosion, you can snipe it. It's supposed to be pretty hard to do, but it can definitely be done. The probes are doing a great job though. But there is vultures from each one, and this obviously is going to make life extremely hard for Cal as well. So he is going to start losing probes left and right. Now the DTs is going to town on the SCV. That's going to be 5 kills. That's going to be, yeah, 5 kills, 6 kills as well. And you can see it's only a single mining base. Plus he has to put up all the turrets as well. On the other hand, there is quite a bit of probes here left over from for Cal, but there is more and more vultures streaming in, basically. Oh, and there's actually a second DT, so another DT has either snuck in. So this base is going to be denied. That was a nicely done by Light with the vulture there. So Light does have to keep this alive because this is one of the only things that are keeping Cal back in his base. Although Cal does have to control his DTs better, I feel, because he doesn't want to lose them. And you can see basically the DTs can definitely snipe the mines before they blow. On the other hand, there is no robo for Cal. Oh, but we do see, sorry. We do see the observatory actually coming in. Now there is a DT there. The DT will be stopping that comsat there, and we see more and more DTs coming in. So DTs are extremely important, but this first DT is defended. This other DT is going to be triggering the one mine. So Cal is still doing pretty well with the DTs, honestly, but both of them will be denied, looks like. Yeah, both of them are going to be denied. And Light is stabilizing, so it looks like it's gonna end up going into a macro game, basically. SCV wise, looks like a lot have been killed by the DTs. We did see at least 6, 7. If I'm not mistaken, there might have been a couple more. I do like what Cal is doing here, though. This definitely will prevent any kind of vultures, just kind of field vultures just waltzing in. But he does now have 2 guns that are going to be isolated. You don't want to be losing guns at this point in the game, because again, keep in mind he's only been making the DTs non-stop. So Reavers are coming in. This has been scouted, so Light does know about where the proxy is. I would say targeting the archives would not be a bad idea, but he has to keep in mind that DTs are more likely going to be made from the gateway. But there is now mines here, but also be aware of any kind of mine drags. Now there is a DT drop coming in here. If he gets a nice drag off, he can definitely kill all these vultures. So he gets 2 vultures. He's gonna get the 3rd one, and he should be able to get the last one, looks like. Looks like the Goon will actually just barely survive. Oh! So pretty close. Looks like this pawn will be going down though. So that's one gate that's going to be unpowered, but at least his archive is still working. But we do see what looks like a firebread being made in the main of Cal. There is a Reaver there. He does see the Reaver as well. There is also the cannon, so the probes will be safe. But because of the splash of fire bats, obviously they are a little more stronger, more lethal than Marines, so to speak. But now we'll have to, considering all the action that took place, especially between the DTs and the vultures, run-bys and such, we'll have to see the game has stabilized. Both players are getting their upgrades. Light does seem to be in a better situation though. He has a stronger eco from his perspective. He is taking the third base as well, and he started building up his tank count too. Plus he has Goliath as well. On the other hand, we do have the Reaver. And we'll have to see what Cal's able to do with this. We did see that fantastic game he played against Ruby on this exact same map in these exact same positions. And he got some money shots off there. So we'll see if he's able to repeat the feat again here as well. Now this tank is going to go down. The Reaver is still alive as well. I believe he's going to try and target the Goliath. No, it looks like he's going to target the tanks as well, but yeah, this is unfortunately not doing enough damage. And if Light gets up that third base and manages to defend it, he will be in even a much better situation as well. So with the way things are going, Light has a good chance of taking this game. On the bright side for Cal, he will defend his Templar archive, so at least he does. This does mean that he can make more units, like more DTs and higher plus if he needs as well. Oh, and we see carriers are coming in as well. Oh, and that's the money scan as well. So Light is completely aware of what he's up against at this point. He's defended everything Cal has threw at him, and we saw that he already started making Goliath, so he has his army up as well. It's already 12 minutes in the game. More than likely he has already some of his upgrades coming in, but more than like +1 attack, and his third is mining as well. So what might happen is you can see he's basically adding more and more factors. He might just start making Goliath tank non-stop and then just go for a big push, because he realizes that the tanks have to come out, or the carriers have to come out, and you have to have enough time to build the interceptors. So this is a point where Cal's extremely weak at. Alternatively, he might also just camp the Nook near the expansion and then just range it there, and that would be extremely hard to break too. Yeah, it looks like that's what he actually is doing. If he gets his tank up, now we do have the shuttle up there as well. Cal can definitely defend this, and the Reaver can do a lot of damage too. Oh, the Reaver is down, the Jazz is down as well. It's only goons versus a heavy tank composition, and the observers are down as well. So this could not have gone even better for Light. He should also move a little more in range of the Nexus, at least for his back tanks, just so they can range also the high ground too. And this was beautifully done with the snipe as well. You can see the tanks, the goons are basically just stumbling, trying to get to the tanks as well. So this base is going to be forfeit. And with this base being forfeit, what this means is that Light can also kill the third base afterward, because he'll have the high ground advantage there as well, and his arm is still mostly intact. I don't even think he lost any units aside from some vultures. So Light is again in a great situation here. Eco advantage, his units are still alive. It's going to be a high ground versus low ground very shortly if he's able to get up there, but there is a bit of goons here, so might deny for a while, but you can see he is pushing for this. He realizes his situation, and I think it's great that he is pushing his advantage now. So it looks like, again, Light will be taking this first game. Cal is doing a great job, though. He is still persevering. There is more and more goons coming in, though. So, I mean, he will be able to pick off some tanks. So Light has definitely to be careful, but you can see there's another 4 tanks in the back as well. That was a bit of a mind drag as well. And you can see the first 2 carriers are out, but they don't even have much interceptors, basically. Now that's gonna be two tanks down, one left. There is a Reaver here, but more and more tanks are joined. So this Reaver, soon enough, this Reaver will be it's gonna be extremely hard to actually range these tanks because the Siege has a pretty long range as well. Oh, and the shuttle has been sniped too. So this was cleaned up. Nicely done by Cal. But from my perspective, the damage has been pretty extreme, basically. He's lost the Reaver, he's lost a lot of his army. The carriers are still, basically still pretty low on the interceptor count. And you can see that's a lot of Goliath coming in, basically. He can probably start targeting the carriers now if he actually wants. You can kind of see, one of the carriers has already lost half its units. Light is doing a great job with the micro as well, but there is more and more going, so he also needs tanks to support the carriers here. Or tanks to support the Goliath. Oh, and the Vols have even come into the main. They've killed a couple of props as well. So I believe they just went through the pylons there. The fourth base is being taken up, is being taken by Light. So that'll put him further ahead. And we saw he is already making Goliath, so no doubt he's already peppered his whole base with turrets all over. Oh, and he's taking the top 12 o'clock and the top left. Oh, he's taking all over the map, playing like a Zerg. So it looks like unfortunately 12 will be denied, but Light does have most of the map at this point. And I do expect the next big attack from Light to be the one that kills, basically does the most damage, that might cause like a GG. But Cal is doing a great job with the carriage, basically just trying to pull Light into different directions. And with the Templar arguments being done as well, that does mean no High Templars or DTs anymore. So that is a minor win for Light. Now Cal has established his re-established his expansion. He does have a bit of an army coming in, but at the same time, Light is going for a big push, looks like, and he has enough. He looks like he is going to be attacking the carriers in his base with a couple Goliaths. So at least a single carrier is going to go down. It looks like Cal is actually not paying attention. So he's going to be losing a carrier. No, he barely just saves the carrier, but his army is in trouble here. He's going to be losing his whole army because Light is aware of this. And if this army goes down, then so will the Cal's chance of even trying to make a comeback here, because Light is in a fantastic position. Still, this is pretty well done though on Cal's part, just moving all over. But we can see, oh, and that's a huge sizable army as well from Light at the top. So this army is going to be dying very shortly, and I do expect a big push right after this if Cal does not. So the main is mined out, so it's 2 base mining to 3 base mining now. And seeing as Light knows where the carriers are, this is the big push I was talking about. So this is going to definitely shut down the 3rd base. Now this is a nice carrier micro from Cal, but the interceptor count is extremely low, and there's a huge amount of Goliath here as well. And it looks like 1-1 is finished already for Light too. Yeah, GG comes in. So well done by Light. So it's gonna be 2-1 in Cal's favor. So let's get game 4 started. Map is Loki 2. Do or die for Light. Fighting. Our blue Protoss at 2 o'clock is gonna be Cal. And our green Terran at 8 o'clock, it's going to be Light. So Light played a really great game 3 on Blue Storm. Despite the DTs doing quite a bit of damage, he was able to grab the eco and kind of shore with it. Took some great engagements as well. But Cal is also up in the series 2-1. So there is a chance that he may try something else again, like whether it's DTs or any proxies or anything like that. We will have to wait and see what he decides to do. Alternatively, he may just play straight up. Now the probe is actually going towards Light's base. It's very interesting. This is a 2-player spawn map. It's going to go straight there. We'll have to see what the probe is for. More than likely a gas steal, especially with how early it is. One thing to note, which some of you guys may be aware about, this map does have a back expansion. So we will have to see if either player will take advantage of this, whether they're going to try and do a faster expansions and such, or like a double expand. PVT stats, 6-5 on the map, so pretty close. But air units are pretty strong on this map, and we have Seared Carrier play here as well. It's definitely a possibility. Now we do see the gateway coming down from Cal. On the other hand, Light just had his gas stolen. So this will mean that his factory will be delayed. So we'll have to see how Light contends with this. So what he will end up doing basically. He could always do something like a Rax expand and then add in a bunker until he gets his factory up. It's not a bad idea. He is sending an SCV out, so he will at least be able to get an idea of what Cal is up to. But that was a really nice probe drill there, basically just passing through all the SCVs and stopping breaking the assimilator. Looks like Light though is determined to get his gas up ASAP, but because of the probe being there, that does mean that Cal can steal it ASAP as well if he is in position. So we'll have to look out for that. On the other hand, we do see the Nexus right after the gateway from Cal, so definitely not a bad idea for him. This estimate is almost done as well. It looks like no, so he doesn't go for the steal again. The probe is still alive. And gets killed fine by the Marine. And the gas is coming in from Cal as well, so I do expect the call ASAP, or potentially another gateway into core. On the other hand, so we see the academy basically. That's very interesting. So I wonder if we're going to be seeing another Rax or 2 added and see an M&M push basically. Because a 3-minute academy is extremely fast. And I'll keep in mind that the SCV does see that there's only a single gateway here. He does see that the gas just finished. And he does see that there is no core. So as long as he basically keeps Cal in the dark, he can definitely surprise him, especially if he goes for like a push. So it could be something like a stim push basically. And the probe has been also denied as well, so this does work in Light's favor. I do wonder if he might just try and plant a bunker here, but it looks like he is going to be gathering more and more units. We do have something coming in as well. More than likely Stim. Stim will be extremely hard to deal with. Now keep in mind that the core is done. That means goons will be out there, and is 2 zealots here. And we'll have to see what that is. It looks like another gateway as well. So Cal is still in a pretty decent position. Stim Marines will be obviously hard to deal with, but there is only 5, 6, soon to be 7. Oh, and there is a medic coming out as well. So it was just the 1 Rax, wasn't it 2? Now, Light is doing a great job of zoning out the probe. So the probe doesn't really have any information. It doesn't really know what Light is up to. So this keeps Cal in the dark. Of course, if the probe does get a scout of the medic or the academy, and they will get a complete idea of what is going on. So he is doing a great job of just keeping the medic back basically. So Stim is done, the factory has went down as well, and we see the composite. And the probe should have seen the medic here basically. We will have to see what Cal decides to do here, because he has the 3 zealots, 2 goons. So I mean, he does have quite a bit of units here, but Stim is extremely powerful. And his robo is coming up as well. So this is going to come down to the control here. Light is going to be catching the first goon, and he's going to shave off the shields as well. So this is nicer and nicer for Light. He has stimmed in, so the first goon is going down. And you know what? Oh, no, and okay. So the firebat is extremely important. He wants to make sure the firebat is alive, because the firebat is going to be killing a lot of the zealots here. The first zealot is done. The probes are basically exposed as well. But this was fantastically done as well by Cal. So he got a nice round with the probes too, so this was cleaned up. Now keep in mind the fact it should be done, if not just about done. And of course unbuckling can always be placed by Light as well. So I mean, it's on the one hand, the area academy, the gas, losing those army, definitely bad for Light. On top of that, looks like Cal actually managed to sneak a probe in, so he knows what is up. On the other hand, at least he did manage to get his expansion up. He does have his factory done as well, but there is a Reaver on the way, and this is also my biggest concern. Is this Reaver makes its way into Light's base, and there isn't much defense here? This could easily be a GG as well, depending on how the control. So we'll have to wait and see. The Starlight is out. I do expect the Reaver is making ASAP. Oh, and this is quite interesting from Light as well. So I mean, he's still working off the one factory. He is getting the armory, but it feels like he should also be adding another factory here as well. Because what does he have to contend? I don't even think he has, aside from the 2 Marines in the bunker, he doesn't have much AA either, right? So what could also potentially happen is that Cal will just move the shuttle into the main and draw all of Light's units up there, basically. Especially we see the tank, so tank, Marine, etc. And then he'd try and bust the front with a couple of goons. Now, good thing is siege is done, so this does make the goons a little more apprehensive about getting closer to the base. But we do see the Reaver is finished. Oh! Okay, so he does notice it. This would have been pretty bad if he got across the map without noticing it. The EB is just about done, so this is actually good news. We didn't see this, so that he can definitely get some turrets up, but the Reaver might just make it there just before the turrets is up. We will have to see just how good Cal's Reaver control is in terms of targeting as well as Light's defense here. That's what it's going to come down to. Now he does have a tank here. He has another tank that is out as well. And this back expand is exposed, so nice SCV pull. Looks like the Scarab will dug as well. So it's great for him. He does keep in mind he does have the Marines and the turret at the bottom. And Light has been holding this pretty well so far. We'll have to wait and see. And it looks like he must have stimmed his Marines as well. Biggest thing is if he can snipe the shuttle, that will put him in a great position. Especially with the fact that he's taking a third behind this. But we are talking Reavers versus mostly M&M here. So, oh, and you can see what I mean basically. The Saddle is still alive. A lot of the M&M has been killed though. But there is a couple of tanks as well. So this Zealot is going to be killed. This Reaver can do honestly a lot of damage, but there should be another Zealot on top as well. So you can see this tank is going to go... No, it looks like he's targeting the SCVs. So it gets about 3 SCV kills. The tank is down as well. Oh, and we're up to 11 kills with the Marines. Another tank is wounded as well. So you can see this Reaver has already done massive damage so far. And he is going to be scouting the in-base, so these SCVs are in a bad position as well. So it's going to be at least 1 kill, 2 kills, see 13 kills for the Reaver. And keep in mind the shields are still regenerating regarding this, and he doesn't have any A to stop this basically. So this is going to keep getting worse and worse. In the meantime, Cal's economy is still looking great because he is taking the 3rd base, and he's going to keep mining normally at this time. So the polls themselves cost, there is the opportunity cost. Oh, and that was a huge Scarab as well. So honestly, with the way things went, especially considering... Oh, and we see triple Stargate carriers behind this. Okay. So with the way things went in the beginning, you could kind of say that, you know what, it was bad for Light to have lost his Marines, but at least he can still get his expansion. But having a hard time defending that Reaver and losing so many workers does put him behind. On the other hand, Cal's getting 3 carries at a time. Just think about that. So that means in 2 rounds he's going to be up to 6. While what does Light have? Like two tanks, 3 tanks, and 2 Goliath. So he is getting starports. He seems to be aware of the potential for carriers because, as mentioned, carriers are popular on this map, and he even scans his own base to kill any observers. So I think what he's gonna try and do is just mass up Wraith and go and try and snipe the carriers. But he will obviously have to snipe any observers because pros will keep a couple observers with the carriers, and that will give his the Wraith the opportunity to kill out of the carriers before more observers come into the fold. So from my perspective, the best thing that Light can do now, honestly, just macro up hard basically. Try and recover all the workers, get up the Wraith and make sure they don't get scouted. Build up as much of an army as he can, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be getting upgrades. And this hope for the best at this point, because you can see a 4th base is going to be taken by Cal. And Cal can probably eventually take his the base, the 5th base just above the high ground there. This idea of cannons is also really nice as well. I personally love the idea. It means that if Light does decide to do any drops, he will be more than ready because he did see the starport. Now Cloak is coming in, but we did see the carriers making their way across the map. Oh, I guess it was an observer, but carriers, I believe, were moving towards Light's base. And it looks like Cal is already building up. His army is looking more and more sizable as well. On the other hand, Light's army is going to consist of mostly Aryans with a couple of ground units. But the carriers have been revealed. And I don't even think we have more than 3 Wraith at best at this point. Yeah, so you definitely need more and more Wraith to counter this many carriers. And this is going to set up the opportunity for a drop too. So this space is going to be denied. It might even potentially cause a lift, honestly. So this is looking better and better for Cal, especially if he gets that 4th established and holds it. Now the Wraith are coming and they will snipe the shuttle. That's going to be 1 carrier is going to go down more than likely, but there is an observer here as well. And you can see what I mean. Basically, he's going to start the observers, and this is going to make it easier for him to kill the carriers. So this was definitely a nice win for Light. Getting 3 carriers and keeping most of your Wraith alive or half of them alive is a win, but keep in mind there is an equal advantage here for Cal. And even though he did lose the carriers, I still think Cal is in a much better position. On top of that, he does know about the Wraith, and these things, once they are detected, especially with observers later on as well, they become extremely they become hard to use effectively because they're pretty easy to kill. So we will have to see what Light decides to do. He is going to be catching the probe transfer. This actually is a great win for him. There is a lot of probes that are going to be dying, but there is a couple of carries here as well, and the goons are coming back. So this was also nice defense from Cal just there. So Cal does have control of the game at this point. He has the 3 carriers. He knows what Light is up to. He's killed a lot of workers. So as long as he plays solid and doesn't let Light back into the game, this is definitely his game to win. Now that is a lot of Wraith. Oh wow. And I'm expecting more and more, because keep in mind, Light knows that Cal is committed to the carriers. He just see the 3 Stargates. So what Cal has to do, and it's going to be a little difficult because of the architecture of the map, is he has to keep the carriers and the goons close by, so that if the Wraith do try to come in to snipe the carriers, then the goons will basically kill the Wraith. At the same time, though, it looks like he's actually... No, looks like he might actually be... He was thinking of going for a frontal assault, which is not honestly a bad idea. He does have the 4 carriers. Because this will also draw out the Wraith. But he still has to be within goon range as well. So it's a difficult dance, so to speak. But the 4th has been established for Cal. It has started marketing as well. So the benefits of that will start kicking in. I do expect a 5th at some point as well. And you see the 2nd core being made just against carrier upgrades, the attack and armor for the interceptors, and a 4th Stargate is going up as well. Now another carrier was killed. Still a nice mini win for Light. So he's avoiding, or he's trying to prevent the carrier count from building up, because then he can do a big push with his ground army when the carrier number is extremely small, and he should be able to do that with enough Goliath, tank, vulture, etc. to defend that basically. But Cal still has a nice position despite losing, what, 4 carriers now? And you can see Light is so worried about the carries, he's basically going mass turrets. And often this is resources that are not going into his army or his other units. And this means that his army will be smaller. Now the good thing is, looks like he is 1-1 on the upgrades. But you can see Cal's army is extremely sizable despite the upgrade disadvantage. And yeah, it looks like I can see a 5th base at the 12 o'clock coming in, the Nexus coming in from Cal. Light is moving up to take his potential 4th base, unless he is planning to actually kill... Unless he's planning to try and kill the top right left, but I'm not sure if he's actually aware of this. And because of this, he's actually circumventing the whole army. A couple of these guys will be great, and this can also be extremely bad for Light. I do see his army moving back. But if the tanks do get sniped, then this will make it a Goliath Vulture versus Zealot Goon army. And with more goons, then this army will be extremely hard to defeat for that composition wise. So the 6th base is being taken by Cal as well behind this. So he's basically just trying to solidify his lead. Oh, and we see the Corsair being added as well. This is a great idea. These will melt the Wraith if they make contact basically. And you can see, because so much money has been committed into the Wraith, that means the Goliath count is extremely low. And because the Corsairs are there, that means the Wraith are going to basically disappear once the Corsairs start firing. So this is enough here. Cal should also be able to easily win this. You can see the Wraith are dying left and right. The tanks are being closed in by the Zealot. This is Cal's game to win, and the GG comes in from Light. So great games from Cal all around. Light did try his best, but Cal will be advancing to the next round.